Echoes call from hollow halls, a voice that creeps and softly crawls. Time stands still, the air is.
What should have been an ordinary morning inside a Philadelphia high school, with students settling in for another English lesson, turned violent when a 16-year-old student arrived late and suddenly threw the first punch at his teacher. In seconds, desks became barriers, the classroom turned into a makeshift ring, and the fight spilled into the hallway with fists flying, kicks landing, and the teacher forcing the student into a headlock as shocked classmates watched. Security arrived too late to stop the damage, and the footage quickly became one of the most disturbing school videos ever shared online. But that clip is only the beginning, because some recordings are so unsettling that the internet never truly forgets them. So in this video, we are looking at 10 of the most disturbing videos the internet has never been forgotten. The music is playing, cameras are rolling, and what should have been the most joyful moment of the evening begins exactly as expected. A bride and groom standing before a towering wedding cake, surrounded by smiling guests, relatives leaning forward from their seats, children gathered close enough to watch, and phones already raised to preserve what is supposed to become one of the happiest memories of the night. The reception hall is bright, decorated for celebration, filled with the kind of noise that belongs only to weddings. Soft laughter, clinking glasses, distant conversation, and the quiet anticipation that always comes when the cake-cutting ceremony begins. For a few seconds, everything appears ordinary, almost carefully staged in the way wedding traditions often are. But then something feels wrong, or else one notices something. The groom's face is tense, his jaw fixed, his movements sharp and impatient, almost irritated, as he grips his bride's hand and forces the knife down through the cake with no sign of affection, no smile, no trace of warmth, only visible frustration that immediately unsettles the people nearest to them. Instead of laughter, there is hesitation. Instead of tenderness, there is silence. Even before anyone fully understands why the atmosphere has changed, the discomfort begins to spread. Guests who had been smiling only moments earlier begin exchanging glances. The bride remains composed, but the tension beside her is impossible to ignore. Then, without warning, the groom lets go of the knife and throws it onto the table with a sudden movement that cuts through the room more sharply than the music playing behind them. For a brief second, no one reacts. A bridesmaid quickly steps forward, almost instinctively, trying to rescue the awkward moment before it becomes something worse. She cuts a slice herself, places it carefully on a plate, and offers a fork, as though the ceremony can still return to normal if everyone simply continues. It is the kind of small intervention people make when they sense something slipping but still hope it can be contained. For one moment, it almost seems possible. The groom takes the plate, but there is nothing gentle in the way he does it. He snatches it abruptly, pushes cake toward his bride without ceremony, takes a piece for himself, and swallows it as though completing an obligation rather than sharing a tradition meant to symbolize care, partnership, and the promise of providing for one another. Then everything changes. Without warning, he reaches toward a nearby guest, grabs a bottle of champagne straight from their hands, and begins shaking it violently. There is no laughter, no playful gesture, no attempt at celebration. The movement is wild, angry, uncontrolled. Before anyone can process what is happening, he slams the bottle onto the floor. The sound explodes through the reception hall like an alarm, and before the shock has even settled, he turns toward the cake and drives his foot into it with full force, sending part of it collapsing under the impact. Frosting, decorations, and layers of what had been the centerpiece of the reception break apart in front of the guests. A symbol of celebration is reduced to wreckage in seconds. Several men immediately move toward him, surrounding him, trying to restrain whatever has just erupted before it escalates further. Around them, faces register disbelief more than fear. Because what makes moments like this so disturbing is not only the aggression itself, but the setting in which it happens. The bride remains standing beside the damaged cake, caught in the middle of a scene no one expected to witness on a wedding night. Before we continue, do you remember we set a goal to hit 250,000 subscribers by April? Well, we didn't fully get there, but we crossed 230,000 plus, and honestly, I'm just grateful. That kind of growth doesn't happen without every single one of you watching right now. So now we're setting a new goal, a bigger one. 300,000 subscribers before October 2026. Yeah, it's a big goal. But this time we've got time. And more importantly, I trust you and this community that we've built. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, this is your moment. Let's make this happen together. Now, back to the video. What began as an ordinary school morning inside Abraham Lincoln High School in Philadelphia carries none of the warning signs of what is about to unfold. Students move through the corridors between periods, classroom doors remain open, voices echo through the hallway, and another routine day of lessons appears to be underway. Somewhere inside the building, an English class is already in session when a student arrives late, a moment so ordinary that under normal circumstances it would have passed unnoticed. But according to witnesses, that late arrival sparks an argument, and within seconds, what should have ended with a reprimand begins turning into something far more volatile. The exchange starts with words, then voices rise, then the hallway becomes a stage for something no one expected to witness. A student recording on a phone captures the moment the teacher and the teenager square off face to face, surrounded by classmates who hesitate between backing away and watching what happens next. The teacher, already trying to regain control of the situation, is said to have attempted calling security from inside the classroom, but no help arrives. He moves toward a neighboring room, perhaps hoping distance will cool whatever is building. Instead, the confrontation follows him straight into the corridor. According to students nearby, the first physical contact comes in an instant. A shove, a push in return, and then the student swings. What follows lasts only moments, but on camera it feels much longer. Punches begin flying in the middle of the hallway. Both teacher and student exchange blows as shocked classmates line the walls, some shouting, some stepping back, others continuing to film. Kicks land. Bodies collide against the corridor space where only minutes earlier students had been walking to class. At one point, the teacher manages to lock the student in a headlock, trying to restrain him as the struggle intensifies and the crowd around them grows louder. There is no immediate intervention, no security rushing in, only the sound of chaos spreading through a school hallway that moments earlier had been completely normal. By the time the fight ends, the teacher has suffered a wound serious enough to require stitches. Police later charged the student with assault, though because he is a juvenile, his identity is withheld. The teacher himself becomes the subject of investigation, as authorities tried to determine where discipline ended and physical confrontation began. As for the superintendent of Philadelphia schools, William Haidt, it was certainly a shocking event demanding investigation. For parents watching the footage later, the shock is not only in the violence, but in how ordinary the setting looks. Fluorescent lights, lockers, school walls. A place built for instruction suddenly becomes the backdrop for something far darker. And once the video reaches the internet, it spreads quickly, replayed again and again, because some of the most disturbing footage is unsettling precisely because it happens in places people assume are controlled, familiar, and safe, until one ordinary morning proves otherwise. A Florida man is facing criminal charges after surveillance cameras captured him repeatedly peering through the windows of a woman's home late at night, triggering fear in the neighborhood, and a police operation that ended in a chase through a swamp. Authorities say the disturbing incidents happened over several nights, with the suspect allegedly returning to the same property multiple times before officers finally caught him. The suspect has been identified as 29-year-old Stephen Johnson. According to investigators, concern first began when a homeowner reviewed security footage showing a man moving around her property after dark, approaching windows and looking inside. The footage, recorded during the late-night hours, showed the suspect lingering outside the home in a way police described as suspicious and alarming. What made the case more unsettling for both the homeowner and investigators was that the suspect did not appear only once. Police say Johnson returned to the same house 3 separate times, repeatedly approaching the property during the night. Each return increased concern that the behavior could escalate beyond prowling. As a result, deputies began conducting extra patrols in the area, focusing attention on the neighborhood in hopes of catching the suspect if he returned again. Authorities say that on Thursday night, a Volusia County Sheriff's sergeants spotted Johnson emerging from between 2 homes in the neighborhood. The officer immediately confronted him, suspecting he was connected to the earlier incidents captured on surveillance cameras. Body camera footage captured the moment the sergeant called out to him, "What's up, man? Where are you coming from?" Where do you stay? Stop. Right now. Stop." Instead of complying, Johnson fled on foot, sparking a pursuit through the dark residential area. Officers chased him through yards and narrow spaces between houses before he disappeared into nearby swampy terrain. Because of the difficult ground conditions and darkness, deputies launched a drone to continue tracking him from above. The aerial device provided officers with a clear view of the suspect's movements as he tried to hide in the wet, swampy area not far from the neighborhood. Within minutes, deputies located him and moved in for the arrest. Johnson was taken into custody without further incident once officers reached his location. Authorities say the drone played a major role in ending the chase quickly and safely, especially in terrain where visibility for officers on foot was limited. He now faces charges of loitering or prowling, as well as resisting an officer without violence for attempting to flee during the stop. Police have not indicated whether additional charges could follow, as investigators continue reviewing surveillance footage and statements connected to the repeated visits to the home. Neighbors in the area described the case as unsettling, particularly because the suspect allegedly kept returning to the same property, despite cameras and police presence. For many residents, the footage reinforced how vulnerable nighttime hours can feel, even in quiet neighborhoods. Law enforcement officials say incidents like this highlight the value of home security cameras, which provided critical evidence and helped establish a pattern of behavior before deputies moved in. They also credited the increased patrols for putting officers in the right place at the right time. The sheriff's office has encouraged residents to remain alert, lock doors and windows, and report suspicious activity immediately, especially when unfamiliar individuals are seen lingering around homes after dark. Newly released body-worn camera footage showing a Hazel Crest police officer taking an Uber driver to the ground without warning has ignited anger and concern across South suburban communities. The clip, which surfaced on Monday and quickly circulated across social media platforms and neighborhood group chats, has revived long-standing debates over police use of force, accountability, and transparency in law enforcement. According to Fox 32 Chicago, the short video shows the officer grabbing the Uber driver and bringing him to the pavement in what appears to be a sudden and unprovoked physical takedown. While the clip captures the moment in shocking detail, the circumstances leading up to the incident remain unclear. Hazel Crest officials have not provided a full public account, prompting community members, legal experts, and watchdog organizations to demand answers about what provoked the encounter and whether proper procedures were followed. The video itself is brief but visually jarring. Many viewers have expressed alarm at the apparent lack of verbal warning or de-escalation attempts before the officer physically engaged the driver. Body-worn cameras are intended to provide an objective record of police interactions, and in this case, the footage serves as the clearest public documentation of the incident. Analysts note that such recordings often become central in internal reviews and external investigations, influencing the outcome of both disciplinary actions and potential legal proceedings. Illinois law distinguishes between routine body cam footage and recordings that capture serious incidents, such as use of force, arrests, or complaints. These regulations require that certain footage be preserved and made accessible to prosecutors, oversight bodies, and, in some cases, the public. The National Conference of State Legislatures explains that Illinois' framework for body-worn cameras outlines specific retention periods and disclosure rules, ensuring that videos like this one can have significant legal and procedural implications. This legal scaffolding means that the Hazel Crest clip may play a role in any criminal investigation, civil claim, or internal disciplinary review that emerges. As of now, the public record consists primarily of the video itself. Hazel Crest authorities and prosecutors are expected to provide further details, including the circumstances leading to the takedown, any potential charges, and whether disciplinary measures will follow. Until then, residents, advocacy organizations, and legal experts will likely continue scrutinizing the clip and demanding answers. The incident highlights ongoing national conversations about police accountability, body-worn cameras, and how law enforcement agencies balance safety, authority, and public trust. As more information becomes available, the Hazel Crest case could serve as an example of how video evidence, legal frameworks, and community oversight intersect in modern policing. Meanwhile, the video remains a stark reminder of the power of body cam footage to influence public perception and spark calls for transparency and reform. An Ohio woman's attempt to escape from jail ended in a dramatic and humiliating fail when she fell through the ceiling, and surveillance footage captured the entire incident. The footage, which has circulated widely online, shows the 42-year-old inmate, identified as Jessica Boomershine, attempting to scale the ceiling of the jail, with cameras, officers, and fellow inmates watching. According to WHIO, the incident unfolded in a bizarre sequence of events. Boomershine was first seen standing on a seat attached to a kiosk, staring intently at the ceiling for several minutes. She then stepped down, apparently considering her next move, and dragged a nearby chair into position to gain more stable footing. The surveillance video captures the tension of the moment. Boomershine pauses on top of the monitor, surveying her surroundings. Before attempting to remove a ceiling tile dot, for a brief 30 seconds, she disappears from view, suggesting she was making her climb through the ceiling. Fellow inmates watched closely, intrigued and alarmed. However, her attempt at freedom came to a swift and embarrassing halt. Just 15 seconds after she vanished into the ceiling space, debris began to fall, and corrections officers appeared in the frame. Boomershine lost her balance, and the ceiling gave way beneath her. She fell back through, fortunately landing partially on a trash can, which cushioned the impact and likely prevented serious injury. The scene left officers and onlookers stunned. Exposed ductwork and dangling wires highlighted the potential danger, and Boomershine herself appeared dazed from the fall. Despite the dramatic mishap, no serious injuries were reported, though the incident added new legal trouble to her already extensive record. Boomershine's criminal history in the days prior to the failed escape was serious. She had been arrested along with Billy Joe Farah in connection with a violent burglary targeting an 85-year-old man in Miamisburg. According to police, the pair befriended the elderly victim at a local casino, with Boomershine claiming to be broke and homeless. The man had invited her to his home to provide food. She returned the following day with Farah, broke into his house, ransacked it, and physically assaulted the elderly man, who sustained multiple injuries to his head, neck, and arms, requiring hospitalization. At the time of the jail escape attempt, the victim was reportedly recovering at home. Now, Boomershine faces additional charges on top of her prior cases, including escape from lawful custody and destruction of property. These charges are in addition to existing accusations of kidnapping, felonious assault, aggravated burglary, aggravated robbery, and grand theft. Authorities noted that Boomershine appeared in court shortly after the failed attempt, this time without any attempts at escape. Legal observers emphasized that while her failed climb was dramatic and widely shared online, it also serves as a reminder of the unpredictability of inmate behavior and the challenges correctional facilities face in maintaining security. The surveillance footage has drawn attention both locally and nationally, with viewers expressing a mix of shock, amusement, and disbelief at the bizarre turn of events. While the attempt ended quickly, it serves as a cautionary tale for correctional officers and the public about the lengths some individuals will go to seek freedom and the potential hazards involved in such daring escapes. For now, Boomershine remains in custody, facing multiple felony charges, and her attempted ceiling climb has become a viral example of a jailbreak gone spectacularly wrong. A routine day at a premium outlet mall turned dramatic on April 19, 2024, when undercover officers caught 3 women working together to steal merchandise in what investigators describe as a coordinated shoplifting operation. Surveillance and body cam recordings captured the moments leading up to the arrest, providing a rare glimpse into how retail theft investigations unfold. According to officials, the 3 women targeted several stores, including True Religion, using a combination of distraction tactics and anti-theft devices. One suspect reportedly removed security tags using a small magnet, while the others kept store employees occupied. Officers stationed in plain clothes throughout the mall monitored the trio from the food court and nearby vantage points, carefully coordinating their approach. Video footage from the incident shows a tense exchange as officers confronted the women. One of the suspects repeatedly claimed she had nothing in her possession. "I don't have anything, sir," she said, insisting she was not involved. Officers responded calmly, explaining she was being detained for a theft investigation. The interaction captured the mix of confusion and fear, often seen in such confrontations. As officers moved in, the suspects were escorted to a nearby area to confirm identification and search for stolen items. Recordings reveal officers carefully reading the suspects their rights, emphasizing that anything they said could be used against them in court, and that they had the right to an attorney. Some of the suspects opted not to answer further questions, exercising their right to remain silent. The investigation quickly revealed the scope of the theft. Authorities confirmed that the three women collectively stole merchandise valued at over $826. Two of the suspects were found with magnetic devices, which are commonly used to remove anti-theft tags from clothing. This led to additional charges of possession of anti-shoplifting devices. Mall staff, who had initially suspected shoplifting but were unable to intervene safely, later praised the officers for their coordinated response. They were acting like a team, one officer noted, one distracting staff while the other handled the devices. It's important we document everything so the right charges can be filed. The suspect's apprehension was completed without incident, and all three were taken into custody. Officers communicated via radio to confirm the presence of identification, coordinate searches, and ensure all evidence was properly handled. The process, though procedural, highlighted the delicate balance law enforcement maintains between enforcing the law and ensuring safety in a busy public space. This incident also underscores the sophistication of some retail thefts, which increasingly involve coordinated efforts, anti-theft tools, and planned escape strategies. Authorities warn that even seemingly minor thefts, especially when involving devices designed to bypass security, can result in serious felony charges. The young suspect who initially protested innocence now faces grand theft charges, alongside additional counts related to the possession of anti-shoplifting devices. All three individuals are expected to appear in court in the coming weeks. Investigators emphasize that these charges are serious and carry potential consequences, including fines and possible detention. As retail theft continues to be a concern for malls and stores across the nation, cases like this one serve as a reminder of both the risks involved in attempting theft and the vigilance of law enforcement agencies. Through careful planning, undercover monitoring, and clear communication, officers were able to intervene safely, recover stolen merchandise, and document the event for legal proceedings. Authorities encourage shoppers and retail employees to remain observant and report suspicious behavior, noting that even small actions can contribute to preventing larger-scale theft. The April 19th incident at the premium outlet, captured on camera, is likely to remain a cautionary tale in the community for some time. Imagine casually scrolling through your phone and suddenly spotting a leopard strolling through the room. That was the reality for 12-year-old Mohit Ahir when a wild leopard unexpectedly entered a wedding hall office in Maharashtra's Nashik district. Ahir, who was sitting in the office of the wedding hall, noticed the big cat wandering calmly into the room. Rather than panic, he immediately jumped up, exited the room, and closed the door behind him, ensuring his own safety. Remarkably, he even remembered to take his phone with him, a small but telling detail that has captured attention online. The boy's calm and quick thinking in a potentially life-threatening situation has earned him widespread praise. According to the Times of India, Ahir is the son of a security guard who works at the wedding hall. The incident was recorded by CCTV cameras inside the office, and the footage quickly went viral on social media. Viewers were struck by how composed Ahir remained, calmly moving out of harm's way without panicking or making sudden movements that could have provoked the animal. Forest Department officials were alerted to the situation, and they responded promptly. The leopard was tranquilized using a dart gun and later relocated safely to a forested area, far away from human habitation. Authorities emphasized that the presence of the leopard in a populated area was unusual, but not entirely unexpected, as urban expansion and encroachment on natural habitats have increasingly brought wild animals into close contact with humans. The incident underscores both the risks and the rare moments of bravery that can occur in such encounters. Leopards are typically shy and avoid human contact, but they can become disoriented or wander into human settlements in search of food. In India, leopards wandering into villages, towns, and even homes have been reported on several occasions, often leading to tense and dangerous situations. Ahir's calm demeanor was particularly notable. Experts say that in the event of a big cat encounter, sudden movements, screaming, or attempts to confront the animal can escalate the danger. By quietly exiting and closing the door, a higher minimized risk, and allowed wildlife authorities to handle the situation safely. Social media users and local residents have widely praised the young boy's bravery and presence of mind. Many highlighted the maturity displayed by someone so young, noting that it is rare for children to remain composed in high-stress encounters with wild animals. His actions likely prevented serious injury or worse. The Forest Department also reminded the public about the importance of reporting wild animal sightings promptly and avoiding unnecessary confrontation. They stressed that wild animals, especially predators like leopards, should never be approached, and that keeping calm, maintaining distance, and allowing trained officials to intervene is the safest course of action. The wedding hall where the incident occurred has since resumed normal operations, and local authorities are taking steps to ensure that similar intrusions are less likely in the future. Measures such as secure fencing, monitoring surrounding vegetation, and community awareness programs are being recommended to reduce human-wildlife conflict. While the leopard has been safely relocated, the story of Mohit Ahir has captured hearts across India. In a world where news often focuses on chaos and danger, the image of a 12-year-old calmly handling a potentially deadly situation is both inspiring and reassuring. His courage and quick thinking serve as a reminder that awareness and composure are sometimes the most important tools in ensuring safety when humans and wildlife unexpectedly cross paths. As the CCTV footage continues to circulate online, many hope that Ahir's actions will be used to educate others about safely responding to encounters with wild animals, particularly in regions where human settlements overlap with wildlife habitats. Police in New York City are actively searching for a suspect involved in an anti-gay assault that took place late last weekend in Manhattan. The incident, which left a 24-year-old man injured, has sparked concern among local residents and advocacy groups, highlighting ongoing issues of hate-based violence in the city. According to authorities, the attack occurred shortly after 11:30 p.m. last Saturday on Broad Street in Manhattan's financial district. The victim was reportedly walking alone when he was confronted by an unknown man. Police say the suspect used a homophobic slur before physically assaulting the young man, striking him in the face and the back of the head. As a result of the attack, the victim suffered a bloody nose and a cut to his lip. Emergency responders arrived at the scene shortly after and provided medical attention. Fortunately, the injuries, while painful, were not life-threatening. The NYPD has described the suspect as a man with blonde hair, approximately 5 feet 9 to 10 inches tall, and weighing around 200 pounds. At the time of the assault, he was last seen wearing a long-sleeved shirt, black shorts, and black sneakers. Authorities are urging anyone who may have witnessed the incident or who recognizes the suspect to come forward. The NYPD's Crime Stoppers program is actively seeking tips from the public. Individuals with information can call the hotline at 1-800-577-TIPS 8477. Spanish language tips can be submitted by calling 1-888-57-PISTA 74782. Additionally, tips may be submitted anonymously through the Crime Stoppers website or via Twitter at NYPDTips. The NYPD emphasizes that all information provided will remain confidential. Incidents like this one have reignited conversations about safety for LGBTQ+ individuals in urban spaces. Advocacy groups stress the importance of vigilance and public awareness, particularly in areas where nightlife and pedestrian traffic intersect. Hate-based violence is unacceptable in any form, and it is critical that the community works together to ensure everyone can feel safe walking through our neighborhoods, said a representative from a local LGBTQ+ advocacy organization. While the investigation is ongoing, police are reviewing surveillance footage from nearby businesses and street cameras to gather additional evidence. Detectives are also canvassing the area for potential witnesses who may have seen the suspect before or after the assault. Authorities hope that community members sharing information could lead to a swift apprehension and prevent future incidents. Financial district residents have expressed shock at the attack, describing the area as typically busy and well-patrolled. You don't expect something like this here, especially late at night when there are usually plenty of people around, one local business owner said. Community members have also voiced concern about how such incidents affect perceptions of safety for those living and working in Manhattan. The NYPD reminds the public to remain alert and to report any suspicious activity immediately. They also encourage victims of hate-based assaults to seek medical attention and support services, while emphasizing the importance of documenting the incident for law enforcement purposes. This investigation is part of a broader effort by the NYPD to address bias-motivated crimes across the city. While New York has a reputation as an inclusive and diverse metropolis, authorities acknowledge that incidents of discrimination and targeted violence still occur, and they are committed to pursuing justice for victims. Anyone with information is urged to contact the NYPD immediately. By sharing tips, witnesses can help law enforcement hold the suspect accountable and contribute to the broader effort to make the city safer for everyone, regardless of sexual orientation or identity. A shocking video has captured a moment of near tragedy at a train station in Argentina, where a woman fainted and fell under a moving train, yet miraculously survived. The incident, which has since gone viral on social media, has left viewers astonished and raised questions about both the dangers of fainting incidents near public transport and the quick response of first responders. The woman, identified only as Candela, was at a train station when the accident occurred. According to reports, she lost consciousness due to a sudden drop in blood pressure, causing her to faint unexpectedly. Surveillance footage from the station shows Candela collapsing onto the tracks in what appeared to be a potentially fatal situation as a train was approaching. The video is intense and difficult to watch, showing the terrifying proximity of the moving train and the vulnerability of the individual on the tracks. Eyewitnesses at the station described the scene as chaotic. Commuters reportedly screamed in alarm as the train approached, and Candela lay motionless on the tracks. Fortunately, the train slowed slightly, and security personnel stationed at the platform acted immediately. Several station staff and on-site medical professionals rushed to assist, carefully lifting Candela from under the train and moving her to a safer area. Candela was treated by medical staff at the station and subsequently examined by doctors. Miraculously, she sustained only minor injuries, including superficial scrapes and bruises. No life-threatening injuries were reported, despite the severity of the incident. Authorities and medical professionals credited both the quick thinking of the station staff and a degree of luck for her survival. In an interview with an Argentine TV station following the incident, Candela recounted the terrifying experience. She said she has no idea how she is still alive, expressing gratitude toward the security personnel and doctors who helped her. She explained that she had suddenly felt dizzy and disoriented, a consequence of a sudden drop in blood pressure which led her to faint and fall onto the tracks. Candela's calm reflection after such a dangerous ordeal has inspired amazement and relief among viewers and social media users. The incident has prompted discussions about safety measures at train stations, particularly regarding medical emergencies. Experts have noted that fainting is a common but potentially dangerous event, especially near moving vehicles or crowded public transport areas. Recommendations for commuters include maintaining hydration, avoiding standing for long periods without movement, and seeking assistance if feeling lightheaded or dizzy. Local authorities have confirmed that the station has since reviewed safety protocols to ensure rapid response in similar emergencies. The quick intervention of security and medical personnel is being highlighted as a model for how coordinated action can prevent fatalities in situations that initially appear life-threatening. Social media users around the world have reacted to the footage with a mix of shock and relief. Many praised the rapid response of the train station staff, while others marveled at Candela's unlikely survival. The story has been widely shared as a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of public safety measures. While incidents like this are rare, they underscore the critical importance of vigilance in high-risk areas such as train stations. Authorities continue to urge the public to exercise caution and for transport hubs to maintain rigorous emergency protocols. For Candela, the experience is likely to be a life-changing moment, one that she will remember for the rest of her life. The video, while difficult to watch, serves as both a cautionary tale and an example of the power of fast, coordinated emergency response. Candela's survival is being described by many as nothing short of miraculous, reminding the public of both the dangers and unpredictability of everyday life. A pair of daring ATM robberies in Shelbyville has left authorities scrambling and residents on alert, after surveillance footage showed thieves pulling off the crimes in about 60 seconds each. Police believe the same 2 or 3 suspects are responsible for both incidents, which occurred over a 4-day span, and they are urging the public to help identify the culprits. Surveillance video from Tuesday's robbery reveals 2 individuals dressed in sweatpants and hoodies, They arrived in a silver pickup truck, exited the vehicle, and quickly began prying open the front of the ATM with a crowbar. The video shows one suspect attaching a heavy-duty chain from the ATM to the truck's bumper. Using the truck, the suspects yanked the ATM apart, giving them access to the cash inside. The entire operation, from arrival to departure, lasted roughly 60 seconds, leaving onlookers stunned at the speed and precision of the crime. Shelbyville Police Sergeant Kevin Cable noted that the thieves' approach marks a shift in ATM robberies. "You're used to seeing people take the whole machine, you know, and that type of thing," he explained. "They're getting more intelligent in how they're committing these crimes." Cable believes the same suspects carried out both robberies, based on similarities in method, vehicle, and timing. Authorities released images from the surveillance footage, hoping someone might recognize the hooded suspects. Their faces were mostly covered, with only their eyes visible, making identification difficult. Sergeant Cable emphasized the importance of community vigilance, urging residents to report any suspicious activity near banks or ATMs. "Crime doesn't pay," he said. "They may get away with it for now, but eventually, they do get caught." In addition to catching the thieves, the incidents prompted a review of the security of the ATMs involved. Repair crews have already installed a new machine at the Commonwealth Credit Union, which is expected to be operational by Wednesday. Bank officials noted that the stolen ATMs were older models, which likely made them easier to break into. Modern machines now feature 4 steel cylinder bars, a design that makes them much more resistant to theft and vandalism. Plans for replacing the ATM at Commonwealth Bank and Trust are still underway. The swift execution of these robberies highlights both the audacity of the suspects and the vulnerabilities in older banking equipment. Police are now exploring ways to prevent similar crimes, including enhanced surveillance, alarm systems, and community awareness campaigns. They also remind the public that reporting unusual activity near ATMs can make a significant difference in deterring crime. Residents of Shelbyville have expressed concern and surprise over the brazen thefts. Many noted the speed and efficiency of the heists, emphasizing the importance of banks investing in updated equipment and security measures. "It's shocking to see something like this happen so quickly," said one local resident. "You never think something like that could happen in our town." Anyone with information about the suspects or their whereabouts is urged to contact Crime Stoppers at 502-633-4500. Authorities are asking anyone who might have seen someone surveying bank locations or acting suspiciously around ATMs to report it immediately. The Shelbyville robberies serve as a stark reminder that crime can happen anywhere and at any time. By remaining alert and taking precautions, both banks and the public can play a role in preventing future incidents. Meanwhile, police continue their investigation, hoping to apprehend the thieves and bring them to justice before they strike again. And that brings us to the end of this episode. If these stories kept you watching, then you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming next. We drop stories like this almost every day, and the next one might be even harder to forget. And if you're not ready to leave just yet, check out any of the videos on your screen right now. Trust me, you'll want to see what's waiting for you there. Until next time, stay curious. I'm out.